We are going to start the day by thinking about long and short. Long and short. What does long mean? Who thinks they might know what long means? Salvador.
Big.
Big. And what does short mean, Jade?
Small.
Small. Okay, so if we say long, that means it's big. And if it's short, it's small.
Yep.
Now, what if I say something is longer? What if I say it's longer, Jaira? Yes. Instead of, if I say something is long, then you could say, oh, that's long. But what if I say this is longer than something else? What does that mean? The longest one?
Mm-hmm.
So we say longer when we're comparing it to something else, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. So we will be thinking today about longer
And shorter.
and exactly shorter. Excellent. So you have your partner for this activity. This is what we're going to do. You need to work with your buddy. And do you see this piece of tape on the ground here? Okay, there's one here. And this is tape C. And here's poster C to go with it. And there are some markers here in the corner. Okay? Over in that corner, there is a piece of tape on the ground. That's tape A, and there's a poster A to go with it. And the markers are just on the floor under tape poster A. And then over in the back of the room is tape B, and I need to close the door, and poster B will be on the door. And the markers are just down in the corner on the floor. Okay. Let's see. Ricardo, will you be my partner for 1 second so we can show the kids what we're going to do? Okay, come on up here. So, since you're my partner, I am going to see how many of my footsteps long this piece of tape is. And so I'm going to walk on here, and when I do that, Ricardo, who's my buddy, my partner, is going to count my steps for me. And when I get to the very end, we are going to go over there together, and I'm going to write my name, and he will remind me how many steps, and we'll put that number. And then we'll come back and we'll switch, and Ricardo will have his turn. Can we show you?
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready to count for me? I'm going to start here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, now we come over here, and I will write Miss Tracy. And how many steps did I have? 7? 8. Thank you, though. It's a good thing you counted. They never would have known. So I had 8 steps. Okay? So that's what I did. And now it's your turn. And I'm going to count for you. And I heard my click. That was good. Yay. Okay, now you come on over here. And you're going to step. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got the same. Okay, now why don't you write yours? And then I remember you got 8, so you can write an 8 over there. So remind your partner if they forget to write their number, remind them to write their number because you're helping each other, right? Great. Thank you, Ricardo. Thanks for being my buddy for a second. Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Because Harvey is more bigger than us. Yeah. You can get any color. Wow, you're so close to me in 7. You're crazy. You're so funny. 9, 10, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many did you got? 5. Wait, what happened? Oh yeah. Yeah. 9. And now
than me.
Okay, Miss Yours better than mine.
No, I don't.
After lunch, we're going to do that.
That looks like a name. There we go.
I wish it would have. I wish it would have.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're the same. How much goes? I can't really see.
I think it's really interesting that we all got different numbers. Because if we're all taking steps on the tape, how come our numbers aren't the same? Why are our numbers not the same? Why don't you turn to a partner right now and talk to them about that and think about why are the numbers different?
If our feet are shorter, like about this size, then we get bigger numbers.
Bigger?
Because it will take longer for us to get to the end. That's why.
It's like this, that means it will get smaller. When it's like this, that means it will take a lot of time.
So I heard some really interesting things out there. Who has an idea? What did you talk about? Why are they all different numbers? Why? Monica.
Because some our friends have big feet and some got medium feet and some got little feet.
Some of our friends, oh, okay. Turn to your partner and say what Monica just said.
Some people are big and some people have big feet. Big feet, small numbers, medium-sized feet.
Okay.
More
Great, thank you. So Monica said that some friends have big feet, some friends have medium feet, and some friends have small feet. And so by looking at these numbers, can we tell who has big feet, who has medium feet, and who has small feet? How can we tell?
By the numbers?
Tell me more about that. Can you tell me more about the numbers? Who do you think on this chart right here has bigger feet, and who do you think has smaller feet? Should we think of that for a minute? Yeah. Why don't I give you a moment to think about that? Because there are different numbers up here. I see here a 7, a 7, a 6, a 7, a 7, a 6, a 6, a 6, a 7. In fact, let's look at this one. There are lots of different numbers here, and here too. Miss Tracy has 8. Ricardo has 8 here. Brian has 10. Salvador has 6. Santiago, I don't know how many. 10? Okay, Kylie has 10. Adaya has 11. Jade has 10. Ariana has 12. Jaira has 9. JC has 12. And Monica has 10. How can we tell who has larger feet and who has smaller feet by looking at those numbers? Talk to a partner about that, please.
Because if you have small feet, then you get bigger numbers. Because the line is here. And this is my feet. I am gonna make big feet. I have 1, 2, 3. That only takes 3. And now small feet. Small feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only took me 7 steps. Because the small feet was even smaller than the big feet. Yeah, because it took the big feet took a shorter time to get there, and the small feet took a longer time to get there.
Put the baby.
Yeah,
I just heard a really interesting conversation. Monica said that Ariana has the biggest feet because she has 12. And then Salvador said, no, she has the smallest. So now we have two different opinions. Monica thinks she has the biggest feet because she has the biggest number. And why do you think she has the smallest feet, Salvador?
Because the bigger that it is,
The bigger it gets.
because the bigger it is, then it's the smaller that it is.
Oh yeah.
The bigger the number, the smaller the feet?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they take little steps and then they leave gaps.
They take little steps and they leave gaps. Does anybody else have something to say about that? Santiago, yes?
Some people are leaving gaps and some people are not.
What do you mean some people are leaving gaps and some people are not? What does that mean?
That means when if somebody's leaving a gap, that means that somebody is
Do you think you could
leaving a gap and that's why it's getting smaller.
And
the number.
The number is getting smaller if you leave a gap?
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me what you mean by leaving a gap? Can you walk on this line and show me what you mean by that? Oh, so if you take a step and there's some space between your feet, that's a gap?
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody leaves a gap, do you think the number gets smaller? What do you guys think about that? Santiago just said that some people are leaving gaps and so their number gets smaller.
I get it.
Well, can you tell me what that means? I'm trying to make sense of that.
They have smaller feet, and since they have smaller feet, they make little tiny, they make small places. So they make it to make it a lot.
Oh, so if they have small feet, they take little tiny steps?
Yeah.
And then their
amount is 12.
Oh, and then their amount is more.
Yeah.
It takes more steps if you have small feet?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that? What do you think of what Kylie just said? If you have small feet,
It makes bigger, smaller places.
it takes your
So
feet.
If my feet was this big,
Yes.
I'd make more steps.
It takes more steps if your feet are smaller?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
You agree? Me too? Thanks, Kylie. Now, so there were a few things. There's that, and then Santiago's talking about gaps. Why would the number be smaller if there are gaps?
That makes no sense.
I already know.
What? That makes no sense.
That makes sense.
That makes no sense, or that makes sense?
That makes no sense because if you leave gaps, that makes the number more
Smaller.
tinier. And then you're saying that it makes the number more bigger.
No, I said smaller. Let me show you again.
So what do other people think? Why don't you talk to your partner about this? Decide what we think about this.
I'm confused.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
I'm not
confused. I agreed with Kylie.
The thing that Santiago said, I'm confused. Since they have smaller feet, if my feet was this big, then it'll make smaller steps, and it'll make more. It'll make more numbers.
You make the more, and that's where she got 12.
You say it. You copied me from the thing.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add to the conversation?
I do.
What would you like to say, Santiago?
If the more gaps you make, the smaller your number gets.
Why?
Because if you leave more gaps, that means if you won't have enough, so you don't have to leave glass. You do not
need gaps, because if you do the gaps, then your number will get smaller and smaller.
If you leave gaps, your number will get smaller and smaller. Well, let's try that out. Remember how many I did the first time?
Yes,
How many did I do the first time?
8.
8. I'm going to leave some gaps. Let's see how many it takes. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Did my number get smaller when I left gaps?
Yes.
I think you're right then. I think that's true. Okay, so there's something when we measure called accuracy. Can you say accuracy?
Accuracy.
Have you heard that word before?
No.
That word means that you're very careful. You're very careful not to leave gaps. That you're very careful to be accurate. Very careful to be accurate. Can you say accurate?
Accurate.
So when we measure, we will be very careful to measure carefully and not leave gaps so we know what it really is.